UFC's 2018 Breakout Fighter of the Year, Israel Adesanya, is used to fighting in the cage, but for his latest fight he had to argue at the highest boardrooms of UFC, taking his quest for a key match up against his former idol all the way to the top. His one-on-one negotiations paid off with the chance to face Brazilian veteran Anderson Silva at UFC 234 on February 10 in Melbourne as the curtain raiser to the middleweight title fight. That's a bout below Kiwi Robert Whittaker, who currently holds the belt below, But to get this fight was no easy feat. Ravinder Hunia with this report.
It's a UFC middleweight matchup for the ages. The master of unconventional striking Anderson Silva versus the prodigy New Zealand's own Israel Adesanya. It's the biggest fight the rising star will have to date, but true to form, it's one he feels he's destined to win.
He should take this fight based on the fact that I'm a guy that he's never fought before, a challenge that he's looked for. You know, you look for fighters like me, I'm looking for a guy that's better than me so I can beat him. You know, so that way it'll make me, I feel like I'm going to bring the best Anderson. That's what I feel. If he doesn't show up as his best Anderson or Anderson of old, then it's going to be a quick night for him.
The 43-year-old debuted when Adesanya was 11 years old and is the longest reigning champion of all time, defending his former middleweight title 16 times over 6 years. This fight is intriguing because the 29-year-old favourite is dubbed Silva's clone in fight style, though Silva doesn't seem to be worried about his opponent in his Australian debut.
For me, at this point, I just try to do my best, not for anybody, just for me, you know. And I don't have nothing for talking about Israel, except the young is the good talent. It's a good challenge for me.
Tickets to see this fight sold out in 10 minutes, but it was the challenge the UFC didn't want taking place. In fact, Adesanya wasn't meant to feature in Melbourne at all. Backroom deals went to and fro, forcing Adesanya to take matters into his own hands.
And sometimes negotiations get a bit tight. We weren't willing to budge, they weren't willing to budge, and that's when Israel actually went to Sydney to visit Dana to kind of plead his case for this fight on this particular card. And whatever pleading he did obviously worked, because now we're at the point we are now.
The matchup will serve as the co-main event to the middleweight title fight between Kiwi-born Robert Whittaker and Kelvin Gastelum. Anderson accepted the fight with the promise of facing the winner if successful, and it appears undefeated Adesanya negotiated more than just this fight.
We're fighting on the undercard to the two guys that are fighting for the middleweight title. Anderson's been promised a title shot. All I'm going to say is that for people that are wondering what's going to happen next, I'm not going to say anything, I'm not going to speculate anything, but use logic to work it out, and you'll get your answer. Yeah, I'm not even going to wink.
Adesanya is hoping Whittaker retains the belt, setting up a trans-Tasman rivalry of epic proportions.
He's a Mozzie, so yeah, I'm the all-black, look at me. But yeah, I think that would be the classic trans-Tasman rivalry, born again in a new world in MMA, and I think it'll generate a lot of back and forth between Australia and New Zealand, and for the game of MMA, for the UFC itself, it's gonna blow it up.
But in a fight he wanted most, the apprentice must first pass the accomplished. Do that, and a chance at world domination is imminent. Mo te hōtaka o te ahi pō nei, ko Ravinder Hunia aho.